O good and gracious God, we long to feel the dampness of the waters of baptism, not only upon our head, but upon our hearts and minds and lives. So wash us now with your word, that we might be renewed and revived in the hearing, and hearing we would believe, and believing we would follow in the way of Jesus Christ, your Son. Now may the words of my mouth and the meditation of all our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. For 4 days, Amma walked around with a green blob on her forehead. Amma's mom is Glennon Doyle, a Christian blogger and author. And Glennon says that Amma could walk around with a green blob on her forehead for 4 days because Amma is a third child. If the first child had had a green blob on their forehead, he would have been quizzed about what substance was on it. It would have been cleaned off with an organic wipe. The substance would have been Googled, and she probably would have taken him to the pediatrician just to be sure. But Amma was a 7-year-old third child. So it wasn't until the 5th day that Glennon said, I need to do something about this green blob on Amma's head. And she sent Amma in to take a shower and scrubbed her down and washed her off. And when she came out, no more green blob on her forehead. So Glennon sent her in her towel off to her room to get dressed. And 5 minutes later, Amma wandered into the kitchen, and there was another green blob on her forehead. Glennon thought to herself, what is up with this green blob? What is Amma expecting to happen because she has this green blob on her forehead day after day? The Gospel according to Luke begins the telling of the baptism of Jesus by letting us know the people were filled with expectation, and all were questioning in their hearts concerning John, whether he might be the Messiah. It kind of makes you wonder, what were they expecting? What were the people expecting a Messiah to be like? What were they thinking about how a Messiah would show up in their daily lives? But more to the point, what are we expecting? What kind of Messiah are we looking for? Or even more to the point, who is it we are looking for to save us day by day? Oh, now, here we are in church, whether it's virtual or in person. So we probably would say Jesus is the Messiah. But do we actually expect that Jesus is going to save us today, each day? Not just in the far-off future when we die, take care of our souls, or when the end of time comes, we want to be safe. Are we looking for Jesus to save us each day? A lot of us, a lot of people look to someone with great expectation each day in this world. Maybe we are invested in a political candidate that we really believe is going to save us from the problems that we see plaguing our country or our state. A startling number of people are very invested in a sports team or sports hero, and their day, its success or dismalness, is really balanced on whether the game takes place at all and who wins. For some people, it's a celebrity, and showing up, being able to get into that concert, allows them to feel like they are part of something larger than their own lives. But a lot of us look to be saved by relationships that are even closer to home. We may really rely on a particular love interest or intimate or family relationship to center us and keep us safe and grounded. Or maybe it's our work. We're looking for our colleagues to save us or confirm for us how valuable we are. A lot of us are invested in our children or grandchildren as a saving place in our lives. Who they are, what they turn out to be, that will be a reflection of our legacy, that what we did was worthwhile. Like the people Luke describes, we continue to be filled with expectation. We are looking for someone to show up in our lives who will save us from the worst parts of ourselves, save us from fear and from suffering, and save us from living without purpose or consequence. We should expect Jesus to be that Messiah. We should expect that Jesus is a Messiah who shows up and saves us, not just in a time to come, but each day. This, in fact, is the whole purpose of the incarnation, was so we would know that God is intimately, daily present to us, right where we are, as we are, in the time that we are. When Luke and the other gospel writers report on Jesus' baptism, they say the heavens opened and God speaks. And it indicates who Jesus is, the saving Messiah, but it also tells us that God has come for us. God has come from the heavenly reaches to be on earth with us as we are, to be present with us daily. This is the gift of baptism. God opened the heavens and came to us and named and claimed Jesus as his beloved child. And it is the gift of baptism that we too are named and claimed as God's children and told we are loved, and we are expected to show up in ways that produce wonderful things in the world. Two things occur if we take the power of Jesus' baptism seriously. First, we do not have to go looking around for any other Messiah. We are free to back a political candidate of our choice, to develop loving relationships, to invest in our work and colleagues, to show up in our communities. But we do not have to think that anyone but Jesus is going to save us. And secondly, if we understand that Jesus is the Messiah who has come to save us, then we are set free. We know ourselves to be the beloved children of God who are called to do wonderful things. Think about it. If everyone who supported a particular political candidate spent time working on the issues for which they want that political candidate to make a difference, it would change our nation. If we didn't just wait for someone to reach out to us, but we befriended the lonely and those who are lost and left out, it would change our communities. If we saw our family and our friends and our colleagues as the people who they are, not as someone to prop us up and save us, and appreciated them just as they are, that would change the world. That is what God is expecting the Messiah to do. To show up in the world and let us know that God is here with us and among us. And we are beloved people who can do courageous and wonderful things. Glennon didn't know what to expect when she finally asked Amma about the green blob. Amma, she said, "What's with the green blob? What are you thinking, having a green blob on your forehead every day?" And Amma said, "Mom, I am a child of God." And she pointed to her forehead and she said, "This is so I remember. So I remember and can be brave." And then Glennon got it. Amma was marking herself so she would remember her baptism. Amma knew she was a child of God, and she expected God to show up and save her every day and prepare her to be brave. And speaking of the gift of the green blob, Glennon Doyle writes, "The most repeated phrase in the Bible is 'fear not.' And the second most repeated phrase in the Bible is 'remember.' Fear not by remembering you are a child of God." Perhaps on this day we can remember Jesus, the Son of God, came to save us. So we do not need any other Messiah. And we can remember that because Jesus came as one of us, we are beloved children of God. We have nothing to fear. We are part of God's courageous, redeeming work. And perhaps on this day, you might do whatever it is you need to remember. You can paint it on your door. You can wrap it around your wrist. You can stamp it on your forehead in your favorite color. You can look in the mirror and sing it or say it right out loud. You can fly a flag. You can share your bread out of the abundance you have. You can take the cup that is offered. You can touch the water, wash in the water, dive into the water, and remember, you are loved. The heavens have opened. The Messiah has come. Fear not. Remember, you are a child of God.